I'm the Reference and Adult Services Librarian here. We are very excited to have Ken Warchol, who's a beekeeper, here as part of our Build a Better World summer reading program. So thank you very much to Ken for coming. Thank you to the Friends for sponsoring it, and thank you to you all for being here on this dreary night. So enjoy.
Thank you. Well, thank you for coming. Like I said, on this dreary day, I drove all the way out from Worcester area, and usually a nice drive coming down 104, 106, up 36, but the rain, the heavy rain, and whatever wasn't so great, but not bad. It's a nice ride. But like I say, this epic journey for me started about a year ago, and since I've spoken with 83 libraries across the state of Massachusetts. And my goal simply is to try to get out to the general public what's happening to the bees, what can you do as the general public, how about beekeeping, and also how would you get started in the hobby of beekeeping. So three issues here that, you know, I'd like to address, and then have the honey tasting for the people that aren't beekeepers, and even some of the beekeepers are going to realize that each honey has its delicate taste if it's not processed, overheated, and comes from 80% or better nectar source of one plant. And that's what you will find, because I went through a lot of trouble across the country getting stuff that's not processed and that hasn't been heated and that comes from one nectar source. You know, you never get 100%, but 80% and up is considered a varietal honey. And those have been checked and tested, and they are in that category. So let me just start off by saying I was a teacher for 38 years, and about 5 years ago I got tired of teaching kids. I was up to here with kids, high school kids, coaching, you know, teaching, department head, and I always started way back as a little guy with my own hive of bees, and I've been keeping 120 hives for the past probably 15, 20 years. So I do. My main concern is I love the honeybees. I grew up with them as a little guy, and I love honeybees. I love going in on a nice sunny day and seeing what's going on. There's nothing like it. You open up that hive, and you got stress or you got problems. You go in there, you forget about everything that's going around you. You know, it was very interesting that a number of years ago, I had a woman come around with my hives, helping me to do swarm prevention. And about midway through the day, I says, "Rebecca, what do you do for a living?" She says, "I'm the chief psychiatrist at UMass Medical." I said, "Oh, did they send you out to see if I'm nuts or not?" She said, No. She says, "Ken," she says, "I came to realize how distressing this hobby is. I love it. I'd rather go out to the apiary and work the bees than to hear crisis situations hour after hour that are life and death in many cases." So she says, I do this as much as I can. I love the hobby. And now we have 4 psychiatrists at UMass. You know, we got 9 doctors. We got 29 state troopers. I started the first one off, Charlie Dance. He got others going. Now, you know, everybody wants to get into beekeeping. We had the bee school at UMass for years, 175 in auditorium. Well, this past year we had to move it to Grafton High School. We filled up the auditorium with 379 people that went through our bee school to get into beekeeping. So it's a fast and growing hobby that everybody seems to want to get into, which is, it's great, because what happens is the more bees out there, because as you know, it's a sad situation out there. The natural bees out there aren't surviving. I got 5 bee trees right in my yard, cut down last year. They're going to be destroyed. Booming, prolific. I didn't do anything to them. It was an experiment. All 5 died. They were booming hives. And so I really cringe. I saw the spring, no movement in those hives. And, you know, I just sat there and thought, what's wrong? What's going on here? And back in the 50s, my dad and I would go beelining. We find bee trees all over. And now, you can't find them. I know how to do beelining. You go up there, you can't find any bee trees. If you do, it might be one that swarmed off from somebody's hive that year. And I tracked a number in Worcester County, and among members of our association working together. And the the wild bee trees aren't there. So we're dependent on the beekeepers to keep them alive, and hopefully, because as most of you know, and some of this the beekeepers know, but there's some general public here, 40%, up to 40% of our food is pollinated by honeybees. Apples, pears, peaches, plums, grapefruit, oranges, strawberries, blackberries, blueberries, you name it, it's pollinated by the honeybees. And yes, there are bumblebees out there. There are other native pollinators. But when you've got 3,000 acres of a crop, a bumblebee nest of 100 is going to do it. 5 nests aren't going to do it. With honeybees, you open up that hive at full strength, 75, 80,000 bees that can get up there and mass pollinate. So, like I said, I was up at Maine. I spoke up at Maine at their field day. 75% losses this year in Maine. Tremendous. We can't sustain those levels. Those levels can be sustained beyond some of the experts. As most of you know, I've done quite a few studies, and it's not sustainable. But anyway, I got into two studies. I retired from teaching. My wife and I were supposed to travel, and all of a sudden my wife says, she says, all excited about traveling. No more than 2 weeks after I retired, I wanted to take about a month just to kick back, relax. I got Dr. Lou from Harvard University calls me. He said, Ken, he said, this is Dr. Lou from Harvard. We're doing a study for 5 years to try to find out what's going on with the honeybees. He says, we want you to be part of the team to run the bees, to monitor, take the samples, and whatever. I said, Dr. Lou, is this the Harvard in Cambridge? He said, yeah. I says, let me tell you, the closest I got to getting into Harvard is when I saw the outside walls of the courtyard looking in from Harvard Square. Now you want me to come work for Harvard? I says, plus my wife and I were supposed to travel. He says, Ken, this is for the, he goes like this, Ken, this is for the bees. I said, you're making me feel guilty, Dr. Lou. He says, in northern China, the honeybee population has been wiped out where he comes from. They're wiped out, they hand pollinate. 7 hours, one person with a brush doing an apple tree. Honeybees do it in 7 minutes, just under 7 minutes, a good strong hive. So, the realities are, in the United States, there it costs 50 cents, they give them 50 cents an hour. Here we get paid $12 an hour, an apple would cost $24. Nobody be eating apples. Impractical. So we've got to find the answer. There's many universities working on it. I'm hoping, because I love honeybees, I grew up with them, and the only reason I took them on. So I finally said to Dr. Lou, okay, Dr. Lou, I'll take it on. Only 5 years? Yeah, that's it, 5 years. I didn't even tell my wife for a couple of nights. How am I going to break this into my wife that we're not going to travel for 5 years? And 2 weeks later, some of you beekeepers will know Dr. Jeff Pettis from the Beltsville Bee Lab. He's the big gun, the big scientist, worldwide, world-renowned, called me up on the phone. He said, Ken, they found Asian longhorn beetle and Worcester in the surrounding areas. They're going to be injecting with a new systemic pesticide called imidacloprid. We've got to run 80 hives of bees and monitor them to see the effects. And we understand you're the best there is out there running beehives and monitoring and taking samples. I said, Jeff, I was supposed to travel with my wife. I took on a Harvard study, and I haven't even told her about that one. I says, I don't know. He says, Ken, this is for your country. So, the guild complex, both of them, exactly the same. I don't know if they corroborated there or what, but this is for your country. I said, thanks, Jeff. So I took it on, not even knowing I'm going to break this into my wife. Took 2 studies on and not going to be able to travel for 5 or 6 years. So one night, make a long story short, I got in the living room. I said, Deb, sit down, have a seat. Yeah, I pulled the chair off for her. I says, want a cup of tea with honey? No, what's wrong? I know something's wrong. Tell me. I says, well, just relax a little, We need a little time to relax after I retired so we can travel all relaxed after 4 or 5 years. What? How long? 5 years? Oh my God. I says, Deb, you know how I love the bees. It's for the bees that I'm doing this. Not for the money, it's for the bees. I want to see a happy ending before my happy ending. And so as a result of that, I've been putting in a lot of hours, both studies, and hopefully we're going to find the answer. Many universities working on it, and so now I'm up to my 120 hives of bees, and the Harvard hives and the USDA hives, I'm up to here with bees. So I don't know what's worse. The kids talk back, the bees sting. So you have your choice. So anyway, the gloom and doom is kind of, I know, it's real out there. When I went up to Maine and heard those people, and every one of them, 75% losses, unbelievable. They tell me at the meeting. So that really even perplexed me even more to wonder why this is happening, and hopefully it can come to a solution. So I'll start off on a little happy note, and then we'll get into the slides. I went my good friend, Charlie, his name is Charlie Buffon, he lives in Somerville. Last year, I started with a hive the year before last. Well, last August, which was his first year. It was his first year in August. They were coming to the fall and getting ready. Well, guess what? Right there in downtown Somerville, some of you probably know how tight the quarters are there in Somerville. He calls me on the phone, Ken, get out here, please. I've got a tragedy here. I says, what is it? Let me know, Charlie. What's wrong, Charlie? He said, just please come out here. I thought he hung up. And I thought he was dying or something. So he calls. I tried calling back, wouldn't answer. So I flew out there. And it was a Sunday. And all of a sudden, I get there. Charlie, what's wrong? Ken, I got major problems on my hands. We went over on the sidewalk there in front of one house. There's about 15 or 20 people. And the door with the kitchen right there, screen door. And all bees like clouds in front of the screen door. Well, come to find out, as asking questions, they said the couple with the two kids was in the backyard at the swimming pool. They left the screen door to the kitchen open. You have to picture this. I should have brought the picture. The queen and the swarm from Charlie's hive went right into the kitchen on the globe fixture. The first thing I did, open the door. You're letting them all in. I says, I know. You have to. They want to get to their queen. They got to get to their queen. They're not going to hurt you. I says, okay. He says, we can't use our house. I said, you can use the living room, you can use the bedroom. I said, just don't go into the kitchen. I says, I'll be back tonight. You promise you're coming back to get them out of here. I said, I promise you. And so what happened, I came back at 8:30. The crowd was all, there was the swarm still there. I told them, it might leave during the day. It didn't. And so I got there, ladder, put a white bucket underneath it. The swarm was almost in the bucket. I took sugar syrup, sprayed it, and just like this, took my bee hands, plop, put the cover on, came down the ladder. Oh, thank you for the swarm. They were there like this from the living room. That's all there is to it? I said, that's all? What you see being done here, do not try at home. This is being done by a trained professional. So they now, guess what? I told Charlie, I said, give me some honey. Get the kids, have them come over, the whole family. Watch from the side, watch the bees. Now this year, the kids are over there every 2 days. Looking at the bees, seeing the color pollen. He's explaining to them because he's retired. And he's looking at them. The mother and father come over. Next year, they're starting bees. Happy, what could have been a disaster. And as you know, with urban beekeeping now, turned into something really beautiful. They got a new set of beekeepers with two, a 9-year-old and a 7-year-old. The cutest little thing, and they're excited. They can't wait. Charlie gave each of the two of them a veil and gloves to put on so they can come over there, watch them work the hives, and it's just a match made in heaven. So anyway, there are some happy things in beekeeping out there, and the scope of beekeeping has changed. When I was a kid, it was all old guys like myself. Now, standing around the hive, I was the only little guy out there. The women were quilting under the trees, and all of a sudden, Charlie, this is the way I do it. Harry, you're wrong. This is the way you got to do it. And they argue amongst themselves. That was beekeeping, 1950s style. My Sonny, you better stand away, you're going to get stung. Well, my dad didn't let me wear a veil after the age of 7 or wear gloves. So he said, you got to respect the bees. And so I went in one day, did a hive opening for the whole club. These older guys with the veils and the gloves. And all of a sudden I opened the hive, I'm like this, going through it, tell them what's going on. After that, it was funny because after that, Ken, come right in front where you can see. I got a whole new respect for these old guys like myself. That's why I love it when I see these little kids coming in and getting into beekeeping. Families are now in it. The whole family's doing it. They each got their own hive, named their own queen. I'll tell you a little story at the end about Matilda, Queen Matilda and little Larry, 4-year-old Larry, and his Queen Matilda. It's precious. So anyway, let me take you on a little tour of a beehive. Particularly the beekeepers are going to know this, but I want the general public to understand what bees are about and what goes on in the hive. It's like a mini little society. They're like us, working only. They work so together as a team. So they don't say, hey, I did more than you did, or they all just do whatever it takes. They don't worry about what the next girl did. I should say girl, not guys, because 95% are girls. You know, it's a maternal society. The guys are outnumbered. Only 4%, and that's during the summer months. So you can see here this painting of me from way back that somebody did. You can see here at the parting of the seas with Moses. And my bee veil is right there. And once this event was over, I was heading over to the Nile River to work my hives that were floating along the Nile after the lotus plants. So I've been at it forever, so to speak. But in all reality, it's the real picture. That's 5 years old, my first hive. And you can see my dad, no gloves, 5 years old, work the bees with respect, they'll respect you in return. And that's why that term, the bee whisperer that they call me around, it's no secret. It's how you work the bees with respect. They'll respect you in return, unless they're Africanized.
I just want to say, we really do call him the bee whisperer, because we see him go into the most evil hives, and he doesn't have gloves on, he doesn't have anything, he's just like, everybody calls him the bee whisperer, and he really is.
Yeah. It's something, I learned it from a monk. A Tibetan monk came over in I'll tell you what it was. I was 8 years old. Warren Richardson brought him over, big name beekeeper, brought him over. He came from Tibet. He wanted to see some bees. My dad was a well-known beekeeper. He brought him out there. My dad was rough and kind of bang him around, didn't kid. He got stung and didn't care. But anyway, I watched in his black robe, his beads, and he had this long hair. It kind of came in a ponytail. And I'll never forget this image. He steps up to the hive without the smoker, without the veil, gently takes off the inner cover. Hachuma. So gently and so calmly, he says, hive tool. And he starts working the bees so gently and slowly. He worked the whole hive, no smoke. And I said, what did you say, brother? I am one with you. I am one with you in the world. Please don't harm me. That impressed me. A Tibetan monk here to see my dad and my beehives. That was pretty impressive. So anyway, if you open up the hive, this is what you're going to see. 160,000 eyes looking up at you saying, who is this? Can you see a big person like us going into a hive and all those bees, you're looking at you as a giant. But we give them a little smoke with a bee smoker. That calms them. They go down and get some honey, thinking they're going to have to leave. So they get honey to build a new nest somewhere. And meantime, when they see we're not hurting them, you can work them gently for an hour, 2 hours, and they're going to be so docile and calm, unless the weather is bad. They don't want their house open on rainy weather. They don't want the house open on cold weather. But if it's nice weather, calm conditions, you're gentle and you're slow in motion, I invite you any hive opening I do. You'll see the same thing, the same motions, very slow, methodical. So that's what a hive looks like. And inside, there's all kind of different casts and all kind of things happening. But over millions of years, this is interesting. We weren't even here, but something happened over millions of years in the northern latitudes. The bees started in January with a small population, and it built up to a peak by the middle of May. Well, guess what else happens up here in the northern latitudes? The peak, nectar flow, and pollen. released at the same time. What a perfect match. And for millions of years, the two, the bees and the flowers, could do it on their own. We weren't even part of the formula. And this is probably one of the most beautiful little verses. I'm sure you'll get the meaning of it. Go to your fields and your gardens, and you shall learn that it is the pleasure of the bees to gather the honey of the flower. But it is also the pleasure of the flower to yield its honey to the bee. For to the bee a flower is a fountain of life, and to the flower a bee is a messenger of love. And to both bee and flower, the giving and receiving of pleasure is a need and an ecstasy. Be it in your pleasures like the flowers of the bees. We are now part of that three-part system to help keep the bees alive. So we have to be written in to this little poem. I may do that. So, and that's what the people go, the bees travel in a 3-mile area, getting all the nectar, pollen, and every plant don't give nectar and pollen, just so you're aware, the general public out there, there are pollinator-friendly plants that they get nectar and pollen from. Other plants like marigolds, they don't touch. So you got to know what are the, and we'll cover that at the end here. So, but they get what they need. Now, why do they do it? Guess what? The nectar is going to produce the honey, which is the carbohydrates to keep the bees alive here in the winter months. The pollen is the high-protein food they feed the babies to grow big and strong. And together, those two are essential for the development of a hive. So it's not like the bees say, let's go pollinate for man, he needs food. It's that they need the pollen and the nectar to survive. Such a beautiful relationship. And you can see they go to flower. Sometimes you'll find 6, 7 flowers on a bee. Gathering nectar, gathering pollen, sometimes both. And here you can see, and we'll see some great pictures my friend took with macro lines, but just so you can see them in diagram form, these are the worker bees. These are all females. These are all females. Their organs, their ovaries, and their spermatheca is not developed. They can't be fertilized. They can't produce fertilized eggs. They can't produce worker bees. They can only produce drones, unfertilized eggs they can release. But they do all the work. They guard the hive, they feed the young, they clean the hive, they gather the water. You're going to see the activities. We're going to go through this hive on a tour and see the activities that these worker bees do. And like I say, they're not selfish. I see them sometimes, their wings are tattered after 6 weeks out there in the field, going back and forth, and I watch them. You may wonder why they do that. They don't die in the hive in the warm fall, spring, or winter. They don't want to have extra work for the other bees. They die, they'll go out in the grass, you see them, slowly they're cold evening, and they die right there. It's all for the good of the hive. It feels so bad sometimes seeing them out there by themselves. They feel like picking them up, putting them in the hive, but they'd only leave again because they don't want to make extra work for the bees. And so and they do everything. The males don't do a thing except mate with a new queen. I said to my wife, that's the way it should be in human society. She wasn't too happy about it. She says, what do you mean? I said, well, the females do all the work. The guys, the drones, there's only about 4% of them in a bee society. They just wait. When the new queen's going to be hatched, they go out and mate with the new queen. 5 to 15 drones and even more will mate with her, and she's mated for life. Comes back to the hive. She's loaded with millions of sperm, and she can now lay fertilized egg that's going to make worker bees, which is what they want, 95, 96%. She don't want unfertilized eggs. That's why the queen's so essential. And the drones, like I say, they just, like a Boy Scout, they strut around there and eat and don't work. And so, and October comes, the drones are all kicked out. It's funny to see. The worker bees pull them all. You didn't work? You want to eat now? Too bad. And they're out there, the poor things. I say, look at them all over and try to come in. You see the worker bees going right after them, pull them out. I say, no, look at the poor things. They're going to freeze right. That's the way it should be in human society. She gets me back. And of course, the queen. Egg-laying machine, 1,500 to 1,800 eggs a day. The USDA study, you don't know how many months and months I had to track the queen's laying, the queen's brood. I use grids, I had everything. We track how much she lays and the pattern. What is it in spring? What does she start off? How long before she goes down at the bottom? Super. We got all that kind of information. It's all statistical stuff from the USDA study with Jeff Pettis. And so I can tell you anything about patterns, but I don't want to get into detail. But she's essential to the hive. You lose her, the hive dwindles. And that's why you as the beekeepers have to know, now I got to step in here. They'll usually take care of themselves, but sometimes it gets beyond them, and you as the beekeeper, that's where your partnership comes in. That's one part of it. And here's two bees, a house bee and a field bee. You have to understand, the first 2 weeks of a bee's life are in the hive doing everything. After 2 weeks to week 6, they become field bees, collect nectar and pollen. And here, what you can see is one of the phenomenal things happening. This little house bee that just hatched probably 2-3 days ago, isn't she cute, Susie? Look at her little brown eyes, the nice blonde hair, the sleek body. There's cutie. And she's putting her proboscis to the proboscis, the tongue of the little bee, and the little bee sucks out the nectar, deposits it so the field bee can go back. They will go 60 to 70 trips, depending on how far they're flying in a day, to get nectar. One drop in the honey stomach, and they have to come back. And plus some pollen. They bring back in the pollen baskets. So here's teamwork at its best. The house bee and the field bee working together, teamwork. Because the house bee can't go up and fly. So makes it easier for the field bee. And here's the guard bee. These are all, a week before they're going to fly, they become guard bees. They have a little Mazanoff gland here. They fan, they release a pheromone that the queen circulates in the hive. That Mazanoff gland, and as bees come in 6-7 hives in a row, bees have a hard time. They navigate by the sun from way out. But once they get close, and the hives are close together, that fanning, here's my hive, they can smell the pheromone. It's interesting. They will drift some, but for the most part, they're looking for their hive by the smell. And they lumber in, they almost just plop, because that's their hive, and they're going to be accepted. If another bee tries coming in, they're going to attack it. And you see that at all times when they try robbing out another hive, the bees gather up, and those guard bees are essential. We had a dearth a couple of weeks ago. Guess what? The robber bees were trying to, like crazy, get into any hive they could to get some extra nectar and pollen. So these are the guard bees, and they can sting. Only once though. That's why with somebody like me going in or you, they're reluctant. They don't want to sting unless you're hurting them. Squeezing the bees, crushing them. They release that defensive pheromone. Yeah, of course, it's be like you. And here's a house cleaning bee cleaning out the dead larvae. Here's a water gathering bee. Tom Seeley's recent study. We never knew this till last year. Tom Seeley came up and realizes a whole group of bees in the hive, they just gather water. You see them around the swim pools, around the bird baths? That's the water gatherers. The adult bees in the hive signal that water is needed in the hive. And I've seen this since Tom Seeley's study. They put their tongues out like this. And these water gathering bees come back, bring back water for the larvae so the nurse bees can give them water. For all the house bees, for the queen. And if it gets too hot in that, if it gets beyond 95 in that hive, guess what they do? They put water droplets all on the frames and fan, evaporate. That balance of temperature is so fantastic in a hive. Unbelievable. I said to my wife, we should heat our house with bees. 20 swarms of bees in the attic instead of paying oil, and we can't even keep it at 68, and we got to keep cranking up sometime. Let's put 10 swarms of bees in there, and they can keep it between 91 and 95. That's what they keep it at when they're raising brood. And that's a close-up of the bee with the Mazanoff gland fanning. And here's a nurse bee. These are very neat bees to watch. When you're in there, you're seeing all of this activity. You take time. If you're the beekeepers, if you don't, you're missing something. Look at all the activity they do. They go up, they get the pollen, the nectar, they chew it up, and then they come back and feed these bees 4 times a day. Imagine it's short. 1,500 eggs she's laying a day, and for 2 weeks, for 7 days, they have to keep feeding these bees 4 times a day, and they grow very quickly. And there's the drone bee. Drone bee is there at the side. New queen comes out, guess what? Well, not from their own hive, but a queen from a nearby hive. They go to these drone zones, and they mate. I sometimes talk about the sex in the bee, particularly with senior centers. I was with one senior center last week, and I said to him, I says, well, I have to stop here. Beyond this gets into my X-rated talk on the honeybees and sex. And I said, you girls are a little too young. Most of them won't. No, we want to hear it. I said, no, you're too young. I got myself into trouble. All right, here's the queen bee, laying eggs, left and right. They found, Tom Seeley again found that the queen takes about 3 breaks throughout the day. She does take breaks. Nobody really knew that before this, but 3 times a day, the queen takes a break and rejuvenates, and then starts up. And she goes from starting in February all the way through November. Down south, they keep going year round. That's why they don't last as long in the south. Up here, they last 2 years. And she's got a head. This is a photo of Mackerel. My friend took this. The head, I've been seeing this around. He never released it, but the head is in. I just happened to pull that abdomen out. There's the egg coming out of the ovipositor. By the way, that's a thread. You know what a white thread is? Tiny, tiny. 1/64 of an inch. It's hard to see them. It's hard to see them. And you look in there, and you see that little tiny egg like a thread. This is magnified. And in 3 days, it hatches into a little grub. And from that point on, they feed it 4 times a day. And you can see all the eggs. 1,500 to 1,800 eggs a day. She just keeps laying in each cell, going to town. A good queen. And I got to stop, I guess, to tell the story about Larry. This is the one that's so precious. Larry, his sister, brother, and mother and father, I went out there with them with the bees, and they all got their suits, new beekeepers. It's funny. They got the veil, they've got this big suit, all white, gloves, all white, boots, and here they are. There's Dad coming out, there's Mom behind him, there's Nancy behind him, and Gary and little Larry. Little Larry was so bogged, he could barely lift all the stuff on him. He's like this. I said, come on, Larry, come on. He said, this is heavy and hot. I said, I know. I said, but you need to keep it on. So we got out to his hive. He says, can we do my hive first? That's my hive. And I could tell because he had a stick flower. The others had some nice artist work. The whole family bought into it. His queen was Matilda. Well, it's precious. I said to the dad, his queen wasn't doing so well. That was the one hive. I said, you got to kill her. Not even thinking. You got to kill her and replace her with another. The tears, I don't want to kill Matilda. I want her. And the tears. I said, no, we're gonna leave her. I had to make a turnaround, but I felt so bad. How personalized it had become to him. The hobby became personalized. He said, you like my flower? I love little lad. I'm going to go back. I told him I'm going to go back just with him. And there's the little larva growing more. And after 7 days, they cap it over, and it becomes a pupa. And what happens is, this is the precious part. If you haven't had the opportunity, the beekeepers here, after 21 days, this little bee starts chewing its way out like a little chick pecking its way, and all of a sudden, it gets in, it chews away, it's struggling so hard, it's really struggling. And you can see here with those legs trying to pull itself out, it's a 25-minute, you have to take 25 minutes to watch the whole process without helping. Oftentimes what I'll do is I'll peel away the cappings, take the little forceps, take the little tweezers, and I said, shh, what's wrong? New beekeepers, what's wrong? They're all worried about their hive. And I look to do this to new beekeepers in Worcester County. What's wrong? I said, shh, I don't want to do brain damage. All of a sudden I'll take them out and I'll take it out and say, oh, it's a girl. And they're relieved, but how do you know that? How do I know that? They're all working. It's a working bee. They're all girls. So I looked at fun. But you can see the struggle. And then all of a sudden, there she is. A little cutie. Wet hair still. Those brown eyes. and in an hour she goes to work. It's not like us. My daughter's finished high school down and going 4 years of college. That was down and going to master's degree, 2 years at college. So my woman with that, I'm going to graduate school, get my PhD. They delay and delay. Here, the little poor little being did 2 hours and they're working. What's wrong with our society? And that's the cycle they go through. And they work like crazy. They fly and fly to get nectar, get pollen. See the pollen baskets? They see why they pollinate. The electromagnetic field in the hairs collects all the pollen from one plant, goes to the next plant, cross-pollinates, and they keep doing that. Great cross-pollinators. And what happens is, after it gets loaded up here, they take these little ratchets, they scrape through the hairs, and put it right in their pollen baskets. You can see that being done too if you watch very closely in a hive. They'll come back, oftentimes on the flower, you can see them going through raking through the hairs. And this one here, this was Jeff Pedersen and I were doing a study, it was quite 4 years ago now. We captured this one bee. We took the pollen off. Jeff weighed it. That pollen weighed more than the bee. That would be like you taking somebody your weight, trying to jump off the ground. Your mind fly back 2 miles. Just brought the pollen back and pulled back to the hive and packed it into the cells. You can see here, they use the heads like ramrods, pack it in so they don't waste space. And they just cover fields an hour. An hour they'll go through this field. Whether it be the bogs, the blueberries, whatever major crop, they'll cover it in an hour. And they'll go back for more next day. And here's the house bee putting the honey in, the nectar in, which is very high water content. And you have to realize, and you're going to realize when you taste it, honey comes in different shades and different tastes. You can see very light, middle amber, and very dark. This is buckwheat that I got from Hopkinton, where they have about 19 acres of buckwheat. Right here, there's some dandelion that I just got this year in Quarry Hill in Uxbridge, and this is last year's fall honey. So you can get all kinds of different honeys from the bees, depends what they're gathering. Up here in New England, it's pretty much wildflower, because unless you're on the cranberries, that's about it, or apples. There's no major big crop that brings in one type of honey. So we call it wildflower. And after they fan it, get the extra water out, they seal it over with wax. Why? Because they got to have 80 to 100 pounds for the winter to survive. And they need about 12 pounds of pollen. That's what the study showed us. Need 80 minimum pounds of honey and 12 pounds of pollen. People don't realize the importance of pollen. They won't start their brood rearing in January unless they got pollen nearby. If it's a cold streak they can't get down below, they won't start brood rearing. And you get delayed brood rearing, the hive don't build up quickly. I capture pollen with my pollen traps, and then I put it into my sugar patties in January. Guess what? I'll match my brood rearing stock to anybody's. Fresh pollen. I put the pollen in the pollen patty. Oh, do this yourself. They come running, like saying, thank you, coming over to the real pollen. The pollen patty, they won't even go over it if they got the real pollen. It's so interesting to try these different things out to see, what is it that the bees like? Learn. It's a steep learning curve, 5 years to start to become a decent beekeeper. This is Sharon. She's not Happy Camper. She's bringing in propolis, bee glue, saps, resins, instead of pollen. And if you've watched the bees struggle to get that out of the pollen basket, they help her. It's tough. They chew it down. And they glue everything up with propolis. Now we know it's got medicinal qualities. My dad used to give all of us for sore throats years ago. I'll tell you, sore throats went away. Poison ivy, calamine lotion Dr. O'Connor gave my sisters. Never worked. They'd be all oozy and whatever. My dad made some propolis tincture, spread on it, it went away like in a day and a half. They went back to Dr. O'Connor. What'd you use? My dad told them. He says, you mind if I send people to you? After that, we had like 30 people. Until 1974, when he was told to stop by the Medical Association, that he couldn't no longer use. But for all those years, it still works. I use it on my daughters. still to this day. It dries it up. And Europe used it a lot more for medicinal qualities. And that's how the bees set up their home. Here's all the girl brood, the girl bees. Here's the boy bees. You notice they don't put much importance on the boy bees in each corner. Then the pollen, and then the honey. So the nurse bees can go up, get some pollen, some honey, and come down and feed the worker bees. It's a neat way. It's a really ingenious way to set the hive up. That's why I tell people, don't disrupt stuff. You disrupt it, they've got it set up in a certain way. And if everything goes right, and you did everything right, and the bees and the flowers cooperated, in other words, nature cooperated, meaning the flowers and the nectar flows, you did everything right, and the bees did everything right, you're going to have a nice hive with 2 brood chambers and 3 honey supers. You'll see a picture of me here last year with my hives. The spring flow was so immense. I ended up with 6,000 pounds of spring weight honey. You can see I had 3 and 4 boxes of honey on each hive. It was just tremendous. This year, the opposite. We're not getting much spring, but I'm hoping for a big fall flow. So if everything goes right, that means that's a big if. You know. So last year, that was a big if. But it worked. And they swarm out. That's the way they split themselves. The queen, old queen, takes half of the bees and leaves. The young queen hatches out, gets mated. This is where all those drones come into action. They're all flying, they want their chance. And she comes back after 5, 7, 8 mating flights, and she's good for life. 2 years, 3 years, little Larry's apparently didn't get mated well. So I told, and Dad said, I'll take care of it. She's not marked, so Larry won't know. But the hive would never build up. It was a poor queen pattern. The queen wasn't mated well. She don't get mated well because of weather. You get a poor queen. Or there's other factors too. And that's what they do. They swarm out and leave and form a new nest. And that's the bees' lifestyle. And my dad in the 50s said, that's great, we'll populate the bee trees. But guess what now? The sad part, when they lose a swarm, it's not going to make it. So that's the sad part of this whole thing. That's a yellow jacket, so don't blame a yellow jacket for a honeybee stinging you. No hairs on it. It's all real designy and yellow and shiny black, small wings, single wings. That's my dad. He was my mentor, taught me everything I know. And Worcester County dedicated to my dad and I this cookbook here a number of years ago with that picture, 170 years of beekeeping between us. And so, you can see, finally, this last picture, before I do a little bit about the hobby beekeeping, you can see me right here. Last year at my house at a meeting, I had dark blonde hair then, now I got light blonde. I turned light blonde, wait a minute, that was 1983. I can't get away with that. 1983, I was just a young lad, and everybody turned out. 300 people at my house. My mother and my sister had we thought 100. They prepared spaghetti, meatball, salad, strawberry shortcake, and drinks for 100. They had to go out and find triple at Shaw's. 300 showed up at the meeting, and we had to truck them in from American Legion. There were so many people came to the meeting, and my yard was not a single spot open. So anyway, now let me go in just quickly here on the hobby of beekeeping, if you were to start, because there are some people that haven't started yet. Obviously, you get a bee veil for yourself. Peter, why don't you come up here so I can just model that. Yeah. This is a bee veil. See what it is? And what it is you don't want your face being stuck. And the bee could come up. You know, most of the time you don't have to worry. And then he's going to go up to the beehive. I'm not sure how he started, but he's got a little smoker. He's going to puff his bee before he goes up into him. And wait a minute. He needs his hive tool. And because everything's glued up with propolis, you got to pry everything up. And then he needs the brush to see sometime the brood will take off his honey. He needs to brush the bees off so he can take away his frame of honey that he's going to spin out. So he needs a bee brush. And if he wants, he's got gloves. If he doesn't, then there. And That's what a beekeeper will look like. How about a hamper, Peter? It's right there. Tight's brand new. This is, you use pine needles or you use wood chips, and say it's brand new. I just had to get one. The other smoker, you got some kind of oil and put a little oil on. It's brand new. But you need a smoker all times. So how would you start? Once you got all that, he gets a package of bees just like this. And I went out with one couple this year. Everybody asked me, Ken, can you come out and do it for us? I will not do it. You're going to do it. You'll never forget this moment your whole life. And you won't. I was 5 years old. Said to my dad, Dad, I don't know if I can do this. You can do it. You can. His answer was always, you can do it. And I always lived a long life. I can do anything. And I felt wrong by that philosophy. But all these bees on the outside, they've never seen a live hive before. They come to the dealer and get their package. They went through a bee school. And all of a sudden, I was with this Margie and what the heck was his name? Oh, Gary. Margie and Gary, I went out with them, and young couple. Not married or anything, but young couple. And so all of a sudden, I explained how to do it. I said, you're going to take this wood flap off. Inside there's a queen cage. Just like this, hanging right in there. I says, so what you're going to do is you're going to bang the bees, take that wooden flap off, pull the queen out quick, and put the wooden flap back down quick. So all of a sudden, Gary says, Marge, why don't you do that? I'll hold the dog and so it won't get stung. I says, Gary, over here. You're both going to do it. Like that. Marge was ready to do it. That's funny, the relationship there. But I said to him, I says, okay, now, and she goes, oh, it's alive. I says, what do you expect? She put it into the hive, and then I said, now you're going to take that wooden flap and shake like heck. And so they had the hive open there, the queen hanging between the frames, and then all of a sudden, boom, the moment of truth. Her heart's beating 210. Ken, I don't know if I can do this. You can do it. And she's going like this. She says, Gary, you want to take over? No, you go ahead, finish. And I said, how's that? I said, there's 100 more bees up there. How's that, Ken? I play with mine. I said, there's 2 more up in that corner. And I said, that's good, that's good. It could have been done 5 minutes ago, but I figured they'll never forget that moment. She put her close. She said, Ken, my heart's beating 210. So you'll never forget that moment. And then you look in your hive and you make sure that everything's going right. Make sure your queen is laying. Make sure they get enough honey. Make sure they're never pollen. Make sure that the bees are building up, building wax. And or you can let them build their own wax. Or you can put a foundation in and let them build out on a foundation. Now, this hobby has become a family pair. So now, extracting time comes along. Guess what? You go out and get your honey from the hives. The family comes back to the honey house. The moment of joy. Everybody gets ready. One daughter uncaps the wax off of the honey. Daughter 2 spins, puts it in the extractor and spins. And spins and spins and spins. Because we didn't have a big extractor when they were young. And so, Dad, I'm getting tired. Well, you got to finish that batch. And then my wife would be jarring right from the tank. And my younger daughter's the taster. Oh, Dad, taste this batch. It tastes like apricots. I said, yeah, from the apricot trees in the yard. You know, the nectar. And so the honey is so much right out of the frame, it's so different. You know, and so you do the honey as a family, you enjoy it, you give it for gifts, and everybody loves honey. Anybody give real honey that's got real good taste, and they love it. And then with the wax that you melt down from the cappings, guess what? You can make beautiful candles like my wife makes, with stain on them. This is beeswax, but she makes these candles at Christmas time. We give people one of these, 2 jars of honey, some hand cream, and so you can make candles. They smell beautiful at dinner time, burning Or you can make, for St. Patrick's Day, we had 4 couples over. We did green candles and gave them each a pair of green candles for St. Patrick's Day. They came over for dinner. And you can make for many uses. Beeswax is used for so many things. And even last fall, my wife wasn't home. I was looking for a container. What can I put a candle in? On the television was her guppy bowl. I took a honey jar, poured water in the honey jar, and took the guppy out of the bowl, and I put it in the honey jar. 3 days, she didn't even notice. Then 3 days later, I came out with this candle. I said, Dad, look at this beautiful candle I made. You took my guppy bowl. I says, I know, but the guppy likes it in the honey jar. It's sweet. No, you're going to buy me another? Yeah. How are you going to get it out of there? I said, with a hammer. That's simple. And so beeswax items. So now the families get involved. Beeswax, hand cream. Try this after. Beautiful hand cream with beeswax. I got 2 varieties. Lip balm. Did you use this? No. I don't know. Beeswax soap. This is my favorite one right here. My wife makes loads of this for me. This is my favorite. Honey beeswax soap. You can smell it up here. It's excellent. And of course, I go to senior centers. They roll these candles. They love it. They love rolling candles. So I go to senior centers. They're all, after the talk, there's 5, 6 of them. They make it. They take them home, take them back to the senior center, go back home and eat. And of course, cooking with honey. That's become really big. At Gracie's Restaurant in Providence, they have a honey weekend even down there, my honey, and every course is with a course of honey. The fruit cup, the salad, the soup, the beef entree, the chicken entree, the fish entree, and the dessert. And with it, there's a matching mead of some type. They use my honey peach mead for the desserts. This is a wonderful peach combination. This is 2 years old. When the peach crop was good 2 years ago. Last year we didn't get any peaches, so we didn't produce any. But the peach honey mead, and you can get a dry meat. What for you? Tip this. I thought that was full. Came in early. I wasn't watching. And you can, like I say, cook with honey, chicken glaze, barbecue sauce with honey, glazed just wonderful. St. Patrick's Day made strawberry shortcake for the company. My job was the dessert, and so what I did is I took the strawberries, fresh strawberries from the field, we picked them, then we put some of this light dandelion honey drizzled all over the strawberries. Strawberries and honey have a beautiful blend. So then I put the whipped cream on top of that, and I took the buckwheat honey and drizzled the buckwheat honey all over the cream to get the plethora of taste. And then I took fresh trapped pollen, maple pollen from the maple trees I trapped this spring, and sprinkled all over the dark honey and cream. And I'll tell you, it was like heaven. One of the gentlemen said, oh my God, this is like heaven. And they said the plethora of taste, the blend of taste in your mouth, the dark honey, the light honey, the pollen, the strawberries and cream just made it wonderful. And then we gave them a shot of that peach with it, a shot of the peach. Wow, that didn't take long for that bottle to be polished off, to say the least, between the 8 of us. So I had to open up a second bottle. And this batch strawberry jam, my wife just made this. Honey, strawberry jam with light honey. That extra touch of honey and strawberry jam. And apple honey butter. If you just haven't tried honey and apple butter, try honey. And then my good friend just came up with this invention, mead jelly, for an extra kick in the morning on your toast. You know what I mean by extra kick? It's 15% alcohol. So you put it on your toast, you should have a little extra boost. And don't eat too much pollen. That's a very high protein. My friend Bob says, how do you do it? You're at 11 o'clock at night, you're ready to keep partying and moving on. You're wiry. I says, I take honey and pollen on my cereal every morning. I gave him 2 jars. He said, can I try some? I gave him 2 big honey jars of pollen. Well, he took one night before going to bed, he took 2 heaping tablespoons. Honest to God, he called me a trick. I can't sleep. I'm just jumping all around. I'm all wired and don't take a lot of pollen. Never. The real pollen. That dehydrated stuff, you know, you got to be, that doesn't have the potency, but the real pollen that's from refrigerated or frozen, it's got some kick. It's protein, pure protein. So you cook with honey, the whole thing, and like I say, there's so many facets to beekeeping now. There's all kind of hives. It's a fascinating hobby. And for some of you, it's going to be a couple of years, others a lifetime, like myself. And I'll end it with this last story. Charlie Kirkovich, 5 years ago, this July. He's from Blackstone. Polish, he knew my grandfather and my father. And Charlie Kirkovich had, his bowels were starting to let go. His wife and his daughter came to him and said, Ken, he's got to go to the, Stash Kirkovich. Stash has got to go to nurse, only he won't without his hive. I go down to Blackstone, I said, Stash, you got to go. They'll be good for you there. He said, no, not my hive. He said, you know what it's like. You've been from a 5-year-old boy like me, keeping bees. I just love them. I won't go. I went to the nursing home. They said, no, right there in Grafton. I went across the street to the farmer. He said, oh, by all means. I'll never forget the day I went back to Blackstone. I said, Stash, guess what? What? I says, we can bring you hive. A smile from ear to ear, that smile that Stash had. And so what happened is he went gladly. I moved the hive in. He said, you're going to come and take me every week? I says, I will, if I can. So every week for a year and a half, this is 5 years ago now in July this month, and I'd go to that field with all the clod. He'd be bouncing up and down in his wheelchair, a little nervous, you know, because there was no easy way to get there to the other end of the field where the farmer wanted. So all of a sudden, Stash, all I could see is staring at that hive. He hadn't seen it for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. All I could do, looked at the hive. It was in a rush. We got there. He's getting up out of the thing. I said, no, sit down. So I says, I'll lift it up. You find the queen. You find the eggs. And I says, I'll take care of lifting it. So we go and I could see the love he had, just like I do for, see, oh, Ken, look at this, a nurse bee's feeding. He's telling me, he started losing a little bit of his mind at the end, but I could see that love with a bee. I said, Stash, we got to get going. 15 more minutes, please. I said, okay, 15 more minutes. And it was almost every week, ended up being 45 minutes. And so after a year and a half, the last time we went out there, you know, every time, sometime he'd call me, Ken, you come out this week? Stash, I can't. You can't? Oh, you know, I could see the dejection. So finally, after a year and a half, the last time we went out there, the hive was there. It wasn't the same. We got out there, he said, Ken, can we talk? Can we talk? I said, yes, Stash, anything. I've known you my whole life. He says, only you would have understood what I went through in this crisis here. And Polish, he talked, I'm fluent Polish, read fluent Polish. And so he said, only you would have known what I went through and why I wouldn't go. You love your bees like I did from 5 years old. He says, every moment I could, I'd spend with my bees. He said, I haven't got much time left. I know, you've got lots, Ken, I don't have much time left. And this is the kicker, Ken, would you please keep my hive alive? I said, I'll try, Stash, I can't promise you. Please, I've had that hive now for 10 years. And he says, please keep it alive. And so I says, I'll do my best. And so Stash passed away 2 days later. I remember he was in the same going back. 2 days later, he passed away. His wife called me. I went to the wake, the funeral. He wrote me this most beautiful letter in Polish that last day before he passed away. Polish, I still saved it and brought tears to my eyes that you and me will meet one day, and he just, you know, teary-eyed. And he says, we'll be with our bees forever. I says, you know, my wife said, well, because she knows that I'm going to be ashes interred in front of my beehives. So anyway, Stash, I brought the hive back. This is 5 years ago. I put a big red S on both brood chambers. And I have 4 people usually come help me take off honey. Dave Lucon and Doug Partridge and Mike Reed and myself. And Mike Reed, is, by the way, is a big 6'9" football player with the Colts from 1990 1998 to 2002 he played. Then he got injured, but he's a giant. He was 3 honey boxes at once, like it's nothing. The 3 of us are all the guys and we're lifting one. He said, we'll never get done if you guys just keep lifting one. I said, yeah, you're 39 years old and his biceps are like this, almost as big as mine. And you know, he's like lifting away. And so we finished. He said, Ken, I saw that. What's that S there? And I said to him, just like this, kind of brought him teary-eyed. I said, you know, there's an old Polish beekeeper, Stash Barkovich. He's up in heaven, but he's keeping an eye on the beehive. It's still alive after 5 years of me taking it over. Not easy to keep a hive alive. So thank you, Stash. So with that, I'll end my talk. And thanks for listening. I know I'm not a great speaker, but you know, I know my stuff pretty much on honeybees, anything you know. Any questions? And we'll try the honeys. Yeah, Peter.
You filter your honey after you extract it. Do you filter it?
I take out with a 9-micron filter with just tiny wax particles just at the top. So it's still raw. It's not totally the wax. I take out the bee parts and anything bigger.
Right.
Yeah, but the key is, I just do it that once with that. But the key part is don't heat it over 100. Actually, over 110 you should. You can go up to 120 and say without damage, but we found that you lose some of the taste once you get stuck going over 110. So keep it below 100. We get decrystallizers that keep it at 105. That's actually what we set them at. You never want to have your honey over 110 if you can help it. And that way it's a raw product for allergies and health needs. It's going to work. If it's heated up, and that's what the big commercial honeys. They can't afford to let them crystallize, so they just decrystallize it to 160, breaks all the crystals, and that's why Walmart and all the other honeys tend to, not crystallize.
Is that typical that you preheat your honey to extract it?
Huh?
You preheat?
No, you don't preheat it. You just spin it out, and then you let it go. I let it go as long as, then when it starts to crystals, then you put it at 105, and that breaks those crystals, but it'll crystallize in about 2 months. But it gives you, because a lot of people want the liquid to eat. You know, you can set mine, and I put right on it. It says, we'll never go over 105. It takes a long time. It takes me a long time to do one amount of it, because at 105, it's a slow process. But everybody for allergies, and I have a lot of allergy people, so I need to do that. What can you do? Plant pollinator-friendly plants. No question. The more, in any internet you go to, you can go for any kind of meadow, wet meadow, dry meadows. There's pollinator-friendly plants, all kind of soils. Help that way. Secondly, become a beekeeper. That's be helpful. Get more bees out there. Thirdly, what you do is you see a swarm or hear a swarm, they used to spray them. Just call the beekeeper so they can get it and save the bees. And then finally, I talk about those $10,000 lawns. I got 2 neighbors. They always call me on it. I've got a lawn with all the weeds and dandelions, and they've got these $10,000 lawns. Well, I got a sign in my yard. Excuse the weeds, I feed the bees. They go nuts. They said, your dandelion fluffs are coming over into our yard and giving us dandelions. I said, yeah, just dig them out. I said, well, you like that? I like this. I like to see those things floating around in the sky. I think it's part of nature. And I have nothing against it. That's what they want. And that's what they have. But I just like my yard to have all friendly plants for the bees. And so that's what you can do as beekeepers. And always go to the bee school and become a beekeeper. That'd be a very, very good one. All right, it's getting late, so I overdid my time. And you tell me, which is your favorite? Take one, then cleanse your mouth. Then go to another. There's plenty of coffee stirrers there. You don't need, then cleanse your palate. Then go to another one. You'll see the difference. And then tell me, which one is your favorite? The mint is my latest one I got from Sutton. The guy had 7 acres of mint. I put in 5 hives. And I get, this is wonderful. This is my favorite. The mint, but try it.
There's one in the bathroom.
Thank you. So come on up, screw around the table. Anybody wants a tattoo, I'll put a tattoo on for you. A beautiful honeybee. It comes in full color.
Yes, give me a tattoo.
Just take that off and then put water in there. You'll see how it comes out. Sponge it and sponge it up. And anybody else wants a butterfly or a beautiful honeybee?
Are we trying this too, Ken?
Huh?
Are we trying this
We
tonight?
can't. No, you know, I don't want to get myself in trouble.
Big honey from the
Yeah. If the queen doesn't swarm and you've got a new queen anyway, if you're requeening, you just got to swarm queen, you're wasting your time. Because you've got to die. Like you had a queen the same 1, 2 years, she's going to start to fade over that next winter and going in 3rd years when you're going to face the news.
So I should replace her in
Yeah,
when you replace her
usually
in
early
spring?
September. No, early September, before the winter months. It's hard
On the
to.
3rd year.
Yeah, you can't get them in the spring.
Yeah.
No, it's after the 2nd year, 2 full years.
Yeah, 2 full years.
So in the fall, this fall, you replace them.
Yeah, that's what I've had it last year and this year, so
Yeah.
in September.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, how do you collect your pollen? You talk about your.
Right here. I have 60 of these traps.
Yeah.
And what they do is, see this gate?
Yeah.
They go through there, the pollen flips right off into here, and down in there, and then you can only do it 2 days a week. Then the other 5 days a week, you just open it, flap and let it go through trapping pollen.
I did the
You
first
don't want to do any more than 2 days a
I
week.
can't lift those boxes, like you
I
said.
got
Yeah, like you said,
79 pounds,
they weigh
80
90
pounds of honey.
pounds.
Oh,
So how many pounds?
that's the way to do it.
Are those all the boys
How's it taste?
Well, they're all fabulous, but I think I like the orange blossom.
What do you guys think? Pretty good, huh? Good stuff.
When I started jamming, I realized these are starting to set it up, put it there. They all came with the same. Because the corn was closed, the corn was all down, that's not good. So I should have
It does taste like yours.
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Some trays.
It tastes like it's raining. No, you go ahead. I'm just.
Sorry.
No, I'm just filming. Your name's Peter? Cliff Yows.
Oh, what's your first name?
Cliff.
Cliff, good to meet you. I think I saw you at one of the bee meetings.
Probably. We got one this week.
Have you?
Getting ready for the fair and stuff.
Oh, right.
So you're in the club then, huh?
Oh, by name only. I seldom attend, it's tough.
Black locust.
You live in Pembroke?
I do, yes, yeah.
Geez, Ben didn't make it, huh?
I know, I thought Ben and Howard were there.
I thought they would too.
They knew about it. I told Ben
Oh,
about
look at that one.
I should have called him.
it. Yeah, I spoke with him, was it Saturday?
Oh, so he knew, I mean,
He knew about it, yeah.
That's good. Is that it?
That's why they build some bigger, and I think I like the dandelion, or the one, the dandelion.
The dandelion, you like that one? Oh, the borderline and Joe Pirate. Those are both locals too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Joe Pirate and I get in the fall.
That's a
and the
fall one,
dandelion in the
yeah.
spring.
Oh.
So both of them you like are both the locals. Of the local ones that I capture, mint, I get the pepperbush, I get the goldenrod, I get the black locust, I get the lavender, and then I get the dandelion. The others come from Washington, my daughter is, she's got blackberry, that's a big blackberry state, and the raspberries, so she says those, I got a friend in Iran, sends the fig honey. So we get a good, and I'll make sure it's not processed, like in pieces, delicate flavors.
Where do you get the sweet pepper bush? They don't have that out in Worcester County, do they?
Douglas, State Forest in Douglas, 1,000 acres.
Oh,
Kidding
yeah?
me? Have you ever been in Douglas State Forest?
No, that's pretty far south though, so that makes sense. I know Douglas
I
is,
put there, I get loads of, last year I got probably about 1,700 pounds of cotton.
just that's the difference between, like Douglas is right on the Rhode Island border, so that's, if you went a little further north, it would be a cutoff there and you wouldn't get any more sweet pepper bush probably, right?
Well, on the Cape, there's loads of it around the bogs.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of it around here.
Yeah.
I mean, in a couple of weeks, you'll smell it in the air.
Oh yeah, the biggest stand in just about the whole Central Mass is the biggest stand in the Central Mass.
In Douglas?
Douglas, yeah, 1,000 acres. So,
Well, you know what I'm talking about when
I
you
know.
drive in there and open the windows and in August you smell nothing but that.
yeah, it's like European, I like Russian olive. And when you're going through Russian olive in the spring,
Okay.
when you drive through that, it smells the same thing. It's sweet, fragrant smell. That's why some years the black locust are mellowed down by the Russian olive. Mellows. You know how it's got the bite? Black locust got that bite with that little after bite with black locust.
I taste a little bite when I've had the clethra, the sweet pepper bush.
Well, as you eat that, you'll taste a little after bite at the end. Mm-hmm. Go ahead, taste that and see what I'm talking about.
Which one's it?
The black locust honey.
Oh, okay.
Take up that.
Let me get a fresh straw. No double dipping.
No.
I'm gonna try the water again. Stuck to my finger.
Get it together. Oh, that's gonna do it. All right. Okay, thanks for the insight.
Wait till you get that after bite at the end.
So that's the black locust.
What is this, a party? Get out of town, really? What is this?
Try that out.
What is it?
What's a combination of the black There's all fall stuff with pepper.
I wish my memory could collect everything you just
They
said.
can email me.
Nice. Do you think you know awesome, thank you.
Yeah, I'm gonna pack up a little bit. I talk. They call. After a long time, I watch it.
Well, if I find it, I'm thinking more school.
Yeah, I-